Hello, everyone, and welcome to another weekly installment of the Telegram Football Insiders. I'm Ethan Joyce, joined by Patrick Mason. We got a lot more football to talk about as we're slowly creeping up on some playoff matchups, which we're getting really excited about. But this week we have all four of our Nash County teams playing each other. Got some big games for our Edgecombe County teams, and RMA is going to be starting their playoffs. But first off, we're going to look at Southern Nash coming to Nash Central. Southern Nash is obviously coming off a huge win against Rocky Mount High, and that really almost clears the way for them to have the best shot at the Big East Conference Championship. But Nash Central having a crazy, wonderful year. Their defense is so good this year. You know, that whole program is excited right now. And Patrick, I know you've been hanging out with them and been seeing their games ever since you started here.
Yeah.
You know, what are they thinking and how are they feeling as they approach this really big game in their season?
Yeah, I think they're really excited, just kind of talking with the guys and the coach. They're really excited to play meaningful games in November, which hasn't happened for this squad in a while. Like you said earlier, their defense is great. Their offense, too, can really make some plays and, kind of keep teams on edge. I think they thrown for about 1,000 yards, rushed for 2,000, so that's just enough to, keep defenses honest. I think they're doing a good job of that this year.
You know, and speaking of meaningful November games, Northern Nash has a big game coming up against Rocky Mount High. Rocky Mount's obviously going to be a little upset about losing to Southern Nash.
Right.
You're the defending state champs, defending conference champs, and, you really kind of get out-muscled there at the end a little bit. And Northern Nash, this is a must-win game to really bolster their chances of getting to the playoffs. And I know that's been one of the teams that you've gotten to see since you've started here.
Mm-hmm.
And, it seemed like the big difference in their offense depended on who was playing quarterback. Do you feel like maybe they should try to look at Devontae Wiggins a little more to give them a better shot in this game?
Yeah, I think so, too. I think at this point you kind of just have to, do what you got to do and just maybe give the kid a shot. It's a young quarterback like that. Who knows how long it takes for them to kind of get the feel of the system, and you just really got to keep giving him chances, spins at the wheel. So that's a big portion of their game. Just kind of I hate to keep harping on defense, but that's a really a strong part of them too. When they're going well, when they can defend the pass up the middle, I think they're going to be really tough.
And that's been such a strong part of everybody's game plan this year, and I think that's kind of what's lost in Rocky Mount High and Southern Nash's game last week is that you look at the score line, it looks like Southern kind of, maybe dominated a little more than you realize, but Rocky Mount's defense was phenomenal that whole game,
Right.
And they only allow a couple of big plays, and that really changes the course of the game, especially in conference playoff time. But shifting conferences a little bit, we have North Edgecombe. They're going to play at Tarboro, and that's essentially going to decide the Two Rivers Conference. And I saw North Edgecombe Monday against Rocky Mount Prep. They were just kind of all over the place to start the game. They fumbled their first 2 offensive snaps. That's definitely not the way you want to start a football game. And they were able to recover against Rocky Mount Prep. It's really going to be hard to recover against Tarboro that way.
Yeah, you can't make mistakes like that.
Yeah, and so it's going to be interesting to see if Northern can kind of stay composed and not turn over the ball as much because, again, the Vikings are going to punish them for it. Looking at the other Edgecombe team that we cover, Southwest is going to Wilson Beddingfield. Both of those teams are 2-1 in Eastern Plains, and that's 2 of the teams in a 3-way tie for second place. So, essentially the winner of this game, they're not locking up a playoff spot, but they're getting pretty close. And RMA is going to be hosting St. David in the first round of their state playoffs, and RMA traveled to St. David and handled them pretty easily. So I can't imagine that we're going to see a bigger difference in that game.
Right.
But that's all we have for you today. Tune in tomorrow. We'll recap our games and look at next week's slate of games at the Telegram Football Insiders.